Welcome to my cafe, my pet info cafe. Pour yourself a warm cup of your favorite, hold a furry friend in your lap, and let's chat about our love of rabbits. I am so delighted to announce our topic today, bunny love. Please welcome Mara Hurwitz and Stephanie Shimp. And please welcome our bunnies. Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thanks for having us.
And thank you for this little big fur ball. This is a lion's mane bunny.
Lion head.
Lion head bunny I'm holding. And this is his bonded.
This is his bonded mate. This is his sister. That's Jeff.
Jeff. Okay, Jeff. Great. All right.
Yes.
Well, I would love to hear, just to introduce for our audience, about Friends of Rabbit Rescue, a little bit about your history and what you do, and about the importance of adoption, fostering. And we met actually at Tango Pet Depot in Fairfax at one of your adoption events, which was so interesting. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
All right.
So Friends of Rabbits has been around for over 25 years. We are volunteer-based, and we are also foster-based, which means we don't have a shelter, a brick-and-mortar shelter. What we have are wonderful volunteers who look after rabbits in their own homes. And we borrowed these guys from one of their fosters to come visit today. And we are, as I said, are mostly volunteer-based. We don't get government funding. We rely on donations of our supporters. And we take in rabbits from shelters that are overcrowded, that don't have enough space, don't have capacity. We work with shelters throughout Maryland, Virginia, DC, sometimes actually beyond the immediate area. And we take them in. We also sometimes take in abandoned rabbits that people find. And we get them spayed and neutered, we give them veterinary care as needed, and then we make them available for adoption.
That's great. Well, to that point, we did talk once about the difference between rabbits we see in the wild and domestic rabbits. Can we say something about that?
Sure. So these, if you get a look here, these guys, obviously not your eastern cottontails, are they? No. These guys are lion heads. They're some of the fluffier ones. They're related, but they're different. Domestic rabbits have been bred, and their wild instincts have certainly been bred out of them over the years. And all kinds of different breeds, but they are meant to be pets. They will not survive outside. These guys are all house rabbits. So sometimes people call us because they find a baby cottontail in their yard, and we have to send them to the wildlife rescue.
Okay. And to that point too, you can't just say, oh well, this rabbit's just going to live outdoors and be fine.
No,
you can't do that.
Bad things happen to them. Predators, disease, parasites, cars, all kinds of things. So that's why sometimes Good Samaritans find an abandoned rabbit and they call us, and we work with them. Sometimes we draft them to foster the rabbit.
Yes.
So that always works out well.
All right. That's right. Well, Stephanie, say something about your role as adoption coordinator for Virginia, what it's like, and something about your profession, your other profession too, what you do.
Yeah, so each month, the first Sunday of every month, we host adoption events at Tango Pet Depot, and it's a chance for not only for approved adopters to come and meet with potential future rabbits, but also a chance, since we're at a pet store or a pet supply store, it's also a chance for the public to come out and learn more about rabbits as well. So a lot of what we do there is educational, telling people about rabbits and talking to them about rabbit care and things like that. And we also at the same time host a grooming event, so people who have rabbits can get their rabbits groomed and their nails clipped. And so that's very helpful, because as you can see, sometimes they're little, but sometimes they're big, and trimming his nails by yourself is not easy. So.
Yeah, we got a great demo of that at the pet adoption event, and I'll show a little bit of a video of the person who did that. It was really impressive. She had a little light. She was shining it right on the nails to get it perfect. It's really good.
Yeah, we've got a great group of volunteers who do that for us also.
That's really wonderful. And to the other point of, we all think about bunnies at Easter time, and we, kind of get that, that, and, any holiday someone wants to adopt a pet, but rabbits are forever pets. How long do they live, and what should someone expect about taking care of them, the habitat, the veterinary care?
Well, rabbits can live to be 12 years old. 10, 12 is a good age, 12. Some will live to be 15. The really large breeds, it's kind of like dogs. They have a slightly shorter lifespan.
I see.
If you care for them properly and give them a proper diet, they certainly will live longer. Hay being the basic part of their diet, grass hays. You can give them some good quality pellets in small amounts, and fresh vegetables, and they don't have to have those, but they enjoy those. The hay is the most important, and of course fresh water. They are forever pets. When we adopt, like someone says, I want to get a rabbit for my little girl. It's like, no. They're not starter. First of all, they're not starter pets, which some people think of. Well, my kids want a dog, but we'll see how they do with a rabbit, and then we'll get a dog. And it's like, no, they're not starter pets. They're actually in some ways require more care than dogs, and certainly than cats. So we like to get the whole family in if possible to meet the rabbits, and it's then a family pet, so that kids' interests change, and if they lose interest as they get a little older, that's still the family pet. There's other members of the family caring for the rabbits. So they are a commitment, and they require special veterinary care, not your regular dog and cat vet. You have to go to an exotics vet. Fortunate to have some very good ones in this area. So that's important. As far as their habitat, people think like, well, these guys are little, we can keep them in a cage. No. In fact, I've often found some of the smaller breeds are the most active and need more space, and where some of the big breeds will just just chill, I'll just hang out, whatever. But we recommend things like the puppy exercise pens, or you can build multi-level condos. You can find all kinds of designs for those online. They will litter box train. Most rabbits can be easily litter box trained. Not all, but almost all. You give them a regular litter box like you would a cat, but use a different kind of litter. You can't use clumping clay litter, not good. The rabbits will eat it, and it won't go well. It'll upset their whole digestive tract. But it's just paper-based litter. It's recycled paper. We put that in there. You put their hay in there. They're happy. The litter box train. But you can also, we have one of our pairs of free range. You can, if your rabbit does well and behaves well, you can give them the run of part of the house or the whole house. You just have to hide all the wires. You have to cover the wires, computer cables, lamp cords, electrical wires. They just love those, and it doesn't.
You love a wire?
It's not good for the rabbit. It's not good for the lamp. It's it's
gone through many chargers.
Yeah, my husband's MacBook. Yeah, went for the expensive piece. The expensive piece. Yeah. So, but we can teach people how to properly bunny proof the same way you would child proof for a toddler. You can bunny proof for a rabbit. So.
Okay. Well, speaking of habitat and exercise, I understand that Winston is a bit of a show-off.
Winston hopefully will be a bit of a show-off.
And we understand he likes treats.
So he's very food motivated. I am always prepared.
All right,
but let's see here.
This sounds like fun.
He's like, there's food.
There's food. We hear the food. And if anybody notices the hay, it's around. It's not that we're slobs. This is just
Winston.
What it's like living with the bunny. You said,
pardon him as he takes. So he's been clicker trained.
Yeah, clickers.
So a lot of people think rabbits, you're just gonna have them sit and not go anywhere. Hey, Winnie, look. Yeah, that's for you. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. All right, you wanna show off? Winnie. Trying to get everything situated here. All right, Win, look. Hey, pay attention, spin. Good boy, good job, buddy. Good job, buddy. All right, you want to jump over? Come here. Winston, over. Good boy. Good job, buddy. We're not going away, though. All right, want to come back to and sit down? Come here. Come on. Come on, Winnie. Winston, come. Good boy. Good job.
He was named after Winston Churchill.
He is an
yes,
English lop,
obviously.
And so, okay, he really wants that treat. You can have it. You were good. Good job.
Although I never
puppy.
saw Winston Churchill jump. But anyway.
Yes, so he is an English lop, and so when I got him, I thought he looked like
okay.
Winston Churchill, so I'm like, well, that's the perfect name
Oh, I
for an
see.
English lop. All right, you're gonna come back on my lap now, bud. Come
Thank
here,
you,
big
Winston.
boy.
Oh, you
Good
are a
job,
star.
buddy.
Thank
Good
you for that.
job.
Now tell us about his ears and about caring for those ears.
Yeah, so one thing that people need to keep in mind when they are getting rabbits is some breeds are prone to different conditions, just like dogs. And English lops are kind of the basset hound of the rabbit world. And because his ears are so big and they flop over, they don't stick up even if you try. They are prone to ear infections because their ears don't drain very well. So he has been to the vet a lot. And finally they decided that they needed to do surgery on his ears to try to prevent him from continuing to get recurring ear infections. So they opened up his ear. You can kind of see the scar there that they opened up so his ears can, luckily he got this done in October and he has not had another ear infection. But it was very expensive. It was about $2,000 to get him that surgery. So it's definitely something to keep in mind because people come in and think, oh, I want a rabbit with floppy ears, but just buyer beware. They are fabulous, but obviously, and I love them to death, but his ears have to be cleaned once a week, and sometimes he's cooperative, sometimes he's not, but and other breeds can be prone to other things as
And
well.
even the other lops, I mean, the English lop is obviously has the longest ears, but the mini lops and the Holland lops, there are other kinds of lop breeds with, and their ears aren't as big, but they're floppy, and they also have to have their ears cleaned, and they're prone to the same kind of problems, not as extreme as an English lop, but you still do take certain care. Now, Petunia here, and by the way, I want to take this opportunity to mention that Jeff's sitting over there and Petunia's over here in my lap, but they're normally together because
Yes.
rabbits are very social,
Yeah.
and most rabbits, with the exception of Winston and a few others, do enjoy the company of other rabbits. So we encourage people to adopt pairs, and we have many pairs for adoption. And yes,
And this pair is adoptable.
they're available for adoption. Yes, they are.
Okay.
And see now, Petunia here, it's hard to see here, but her head tilts slightly to one side. And because head tilt is a common affliction with rabbits, it's caused by one of two things: E. caniculi, which is a parasitic infection, or an ear infection. It's a different kind of thing. One's a parasite, one's just a old-fashioned ear infection. And it will cause a head tilt. So you treat them with antibiotics, you treat them with the anti-parasite drugs, and often they'll recover, but they'll have a residual tilt. If it's really bad, they'll actually be rolling because they'll lose all their equilibrium. So it can be pretty severe. But if you catch it early and treat it, they'll recover, sometimes completely, but sometimes they'll just look a little quizzical for the rest of their lives. The other big thing I think for rabbits is GI stasis. So if you think about the diet of a rabbit, it's a lot like a horse.
Okay.
And a horse can die of colic. It's very similar. You have to make sure that everything's moving through their system, and they can't regurgitate the way a cat does. So if they ingest fur or other foreign things, it can cause a blockage. So you have to make sure hay is very important for that. Hay is also very important for their teeth, which is another issue with rabbits. They can have dental issues.
Okay. Well, we are going to talk a little bit about diet in just a minute. And just to say a little bit more about someone wants to adopt a rabbit, what's the first step that they should take?
They should learn about rabbits.
Okay.
Before you even fill out the adoption application, I would say go online. You can go to the rabbit.org foundation on their website. They have a lot of articles. Our website has some information on basic rabbit care, but do a little research and find out what's involved. And then you can fill out an application. If you go on our website, there's a place to fill out an application. There are also, I want to mention, several other excellent rabbit rescues in the area, and people can adopt from them as well. Our adoptable rabbits are on Pet Finder, and you can also get a look at them, although it will change every couple of weeks because some rabbits get adopted.
Okay.
And then we have other rabbits that are becoming available after they've gone through intake. So fill out an application, an adoption screener will contact you and have a discussion with you, find out what kind of rabbit might suit you in your family situation, and then work with you. And once you've been approved, you can come to one of our adoption events in Maryland. If you just want to come out, if you're in Virginia, you just want to come out and learn about rabbits and talk to somebody, you can come to Tango Pet Depot the first Sunday of every month with Stephanie and her crew and just talk to people and meet some rabbits before you even put in an application. It's a great opportunity.
Well, that sounds good, and that's where I met you. And we are going to move on and talk about diet next. So we will be right back with our next guest to talk about rabbits and vegans, who are perfect companions to share your vegetarian or vegan diet. I also would like to thank our sponsor of this episode, Allura Veda Salon in Ashburn, Virginia. Allura Veda Salon brings over 25 years of experience providing haircuts, styling, hair treatments, and spa services. You may reach them at 703-858-5566 and info@alluraveda.com. Aveda features vegan hair care, skin care, and body products that are people tested and cruelty-free as well. All of our beautiful guests' cosmetics were done by Allura Veda Salon and are from cruelty-free certified cosmetic companies. Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Please welcome Mari, vegan cook, producer and co-host of Food Access, a vegan cooking show airing right here on Fairfax Channel 10. Welcome, Mary and Mara, and we're going to talk more about our bunnies as vegan companions in the kitchen. Somebody told me their favorite is cilantro.
I bet, yes. I think so. Yeah, I think they're the perfect pet for a vegan. I've been vegan 7 years now, and cilantro always in my fridge, always part of recipes. In Food Access, actually, our first 2 episodes one had cilantro, definitely a needed ingredient, and the second episode, lettuce, was definitely an important ingredient. So these are vegetables will always be stocked in our fridge. And bunnies will love cilantro, will love lettuce, green leaf, lettuce, red leaf, some parsley. I know that other vegetables like carrots, it should just be a little treat, not something as how I think a lot of people think that bunnies will just should eat a lot of carrots, and that's not the case. It should be special treats. And yes, those are vegetables that will always be in a vegan's fridge. So that's why I think they're just the perfect companion for a vegan.
That's great. So, Mary, say more about bunnies' diets and what you recommend that people feed.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of just taking my salad and fixing some for myself and giving the rest to my bunny. Right?
Yeah, because those of us who had rabbits a long time, the idea is you give them a variety of, if you're going to give them fresh greens, you give them a variety, not all of one kind. So you might give them a little kale, some romaine, some parsley, some cilantro, dill. They like dill, fresh mint. They like mint. So all those kind of herbs dandelion greens. They love dandelion greens. Although not every rabbit likes everything. They're just like people. They have their tastes and what they do and they don't like. But the most important thing again is hay is the basis of their diet. When they're very young, you give them alfalfa, and sometimes elderly rabbits, to keep weight on them, you'll give them alfalfa. But normally, an adult rabbit from about the age of 6 months, you would give them grass hays, which would be timothy and orchard primarily. But you can supplement that with vegetables. And as Mari said, carrots, small quantities. It's like fruit. You can give them a blueberry or a little piece of strawberry. They generally like that. But if you buy fresh carrots, the organic carrots with the tops, the carrot tops, actually the rabbits
Those
seem
are
to
good.
like the carrot tops
Okay.
better than the carrots.
Okay.
So if you never know what to do with those carrot tops, feed them to your rabbits.
Yeah, I learned about the carrot thing and other vegetables like tomatoes too, because I have guinea pigs and had them for around the same time I've been vegan. But I was debating whether I wanted to have a guinea pig or a rabbit, so I started learning more about just what do they eat and how to take care of them. And that was a surprise to me that those vegetables should just be special treats. And it's also been interesting that since they like so many different variety of vegetables, it prompts me to look at how I can use those in my diet as well. Like how can I use the carrot tops or the dandelion greens and other things, you know? That's always nice.
So do you have a good recipe for dandelion greens?
I don't know. I was just thinking that when you mentioned it, that it's back and forth that they also can bring new ingredients into my kitchen and to see, they seem to like it. Let's see what I can make for myself.
Oh, I love that.
It'd be funny because I'd be at the checkout, and because I have so many rabbits in the house, I'd be getting several bunches of kale, and invariably someone will ask me, oh, what do you do with all that kale? And I went, how do you cook the kale? I went, I have no idea. I feed it to my rabbits. Now I've learned to make Tuscan kale soup with white beans, but it's so funny. It's like, no, it's like, or they'll see, other things in there and go, what do you do with that? I went, I don't know. I feed it to the rabbits. It's like,
So when you feed kale to the rabbits, do they love a big leaf or do you chop it up?
I just give them a leaf, and they'll get that small leaf with everything else that they're getting as part of their salads. We refer to it as their salads, their mixture of greens, and they just really like. And they'll eat right through they'll eat the green, they'll eat the stalk, they'll eat the whole thing. Most will eat the stalk too. They'll eat collards also. They like collards.
I love the idea of just like guinea pigs, rabbits as a pet for vegans, as a companion, animal companion in their home. They don't need to bring any other animal products inside their home, especially when you're first starting to be more plant-based or vegan. You're changing your home a little bit, you're changing the way you're grocery shopping. And so having a pet that's, also in as a herbivore, that's a herbivore is easier to do that transition.
Well, that's a really good point. As a cat owner, I hear you very clearly about I'm cooking some vegetables over here for myself, and my cats are not having the vegetables. So that's a really good point. And so do you find that you plan some of your recipes around what your guinea pig likes, or how?
A little bit. When I started, getting interested in doing a cooking show and learning more about the kitchen, I was inspired. For example, kale. I also realized my guinea pigs liked a little bit of kale, and you can't buy just a small quantity. You get the. So I'm like, well, I have to use this. Oh, I have to use this kale, and I saw a recipe for just kale chips. And you just use your oven, and you put some olive oil and other spices on it, and you can have all different types of chips with kale. And that's how I now use all the extra kale that I have to make guinea pigs. Well, they're not going to eat all of it. I don't want it to go bad.
Oh, that's great. That sounds really, really yummy. And kale is so, popular now, and there are so many different varieties. Do you have some recipes that you use with kale?
Just mostly for those snacks, for those kale chips. I've used them in smoothies as well, as an added green in a smoothie. So I was surprised at that. But yeah, it's helpful to just be inspired from your pet and how you can add those ingredients in your diet.
That's inspirational. So Mara, do you see that people who adopt rabbits are perhaps becoming more vegetarian oriented because they have a rabbit to feed?
I'm not sure. It's which comes first. I do notice that within the rabbit rescue community, nationally, that a lot of vegetarians and a lot of vegans. So I'm not sure if, as Mari says, if you are already a vegetarian or vegan and looking for a pet, a rabbit or guinea pig, is a great pet for you because your diets, you have dietary compatibility. So I don't know if it's that, although I do think that if you are an omnivore, that having a rabbit is probably, your doctor should prescribe that you get pet rabbits because it'll encourage you to have fresh greens and eat more fresh vegetables. Get them in your diet because you're buying them for the rabbits. So I think they should consider that as a lifestyle. It's a good way to get more vegetables in your diet because you're shopping for them anyway. So.
Very good. And going back to the carrots, I mean, carrots have become sort of iconic because of the Bugs Bunny character. And if I go out to buy an Easter wreath, it is a bunny holding a carrot. So the association is so strong, but carrots are very high in sugar.
I always think it's funny that when we're trying to lose weight, we eat carrots, right? But for a rabbit, it'll cause them to put on weight. But it's like, but that's what I eat when I want to lose weight. I don't get it. But yeah, so that's true. So, but as I said, the green. So you don't want to give them starchy vegetables. You want to give them green leafy, really or things that have fronds, if not leaves. So I've discovered that most of them love dill, and which is great because if I buy dill to cook with it, you don't use that much dill.
Yeah, that's true.
The same thing with mint, although mint you can just grow. I mean, anybody can grow mint. Mint grows itself basically and takes over a garden. But what do you do with the rest of the dill?
Yeah.
Well, you can feed it to your rabbit. So that works out.
Yeah.
That works out really
Yes,
well.
they share.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for telling us about your vegan show and rabbits as great companions, and for telling us all about the pet care that's necessary for rabbits and what a great pet they make. So thank you very much for that. I hope you've enjoyed this very special episode of Pet Info Cafe. For more information about rabbits and other episodes, you may visit my website, petinfocafe.com.